What is up, gang? Don't hate. Participate. We're back with another banger, another reaction, another... I don't know where I was going with that. But anyways, if you're new, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you hit that like, notification bells, because we drop content all the time. Our links to our other channels is down below. And that's about it. That's about all I got for y'all. But today we're heading back to Mr.Ballen. I'm on one today. I know. Get with me. This is called She Ignored the Siren. So the only thing I can think of, as for you East Coast people who be having tornadoes and all that stuff and sirens going off, that's what I'm going. That's where I'm headed. But maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a fire truck came through and hit her. Maybe the ambulance hit her.
Or a siren like in the water. The mermaids.
Dang! Look at you getting all deep. Siren mermaids.
I don't know. Isn't that what they're called or something?
I think you're on to something. I think you
But
might be on to something, though. You might be on to something. I didn't think of that. That's thinking outside the box. That is thinking outside the box.
In 2017, a group of 7 friends were wandering through this forest in New Zealand trying to get to this secret swimming spot. And as they're walking along,
something, your noodle might be working today. Your noodle might be working.
This dirt trail far away from the road and there's no one near them, they suddenly hear this high-pitched, shrill siren sound coming from somewhere off in the forest.
I guess they wouldn't
so the group
investigate.
stops, they're listening to the siren, and eventually, after about 30 seconds, the siren stops. And at that point, these 7 friends begin exchanging very curious looks about what they just heard, but ultimately, they shrug it off and just keep on walking. Little did they know, that siren was trying to tell them to turn around and go the other way. On the morning of Monday, February 6th, 2017, a group of 7 friends who were all college-aged and living in New Zealand began packing up their cars and getting ready to drive back to Auckland, the biggest city in New Zealand. The night before, the group had been out on Lake Tikitapu for a big concert called Flocella, where audience members would listen to the music while floating around on big blow-up rafts.
No.
I'm 50-50.
Listen, I like water. But let me tell you one thing. I've heard of stuff like this. I'm not about to be floating in nobody's lake, especially at night. See, I do daytime.
Not dark.
No, that's showing day.
Dark.
But they be out there at night.
You don't have to stay on that lake.
I'm not getting floating in nothing. What do I need to be in the water for a concert?
I think I could do that in the daytime.
Why do I need to be in the water in the concert? Coming from the person, so you gonna get in the lake. You won't even get on a boat, but you want to get in the lake.
And the floaty thing, yeah, that'd be cool.
So on a nice boat that you could be safe on the lake in, floating, you'd rather be in a raft that can get poked by something and possibly get caught.
Okay, obviously I'm going to be by the shore, though.
All right, I'm going to let you stick with that.
I would do it.
Okay.
After the concert had ended, the group of friends had left the lake and headed to a nearby relative's house where they had a quiet after party with a couple of drinks, and then everyone went to bed a little bit after midnight. This morning, the group had gotten up early because they wanted to get on the road as soon as possible to try to beat the holiday traffic that was sure to crop up that day on the way back to Auckland. February 6th is a big national holiday in New Zealand. It's called Waitangi Day, and it's to commemorate the initial signing of the Treaty of Waitangi, which is considered to be the founding document of the country. But right as the 7 friends had finished packing up their 3 cars and were getting ready to begin their 3-hour drive north to Auckland, one of the friends, a 21-year-old named Rachel De Jong, suggested they take a quick detour before they head back home. Rachel, along with another girl in this group of friends named Maddie, had several months earlier discovered this secret swimming spot that was located only about 15 minutes away from where they were now, and it happened to be on the way back to Auckland. This swimming spot was this beautiful green-blue pool of fairly deep water that was located in the middle of a forest. This pool was actually a part of the Waikato River. However, this stretch of the river where the pool was either very shallow or dry most of the time. So as a result, this pool actually looked like a standalone body of water. While there was no official trail that led through the forest to this pool of water, there was an unofficial trail. It was basically a dirt trail that cut through the woods that had formed over the years of locals tromping their way to this pool.
That means people walking through there. So is it really a secret spot? Technically not, because there's a man-made trail. I'm not swimming in any body of water that I know nothing about. That's what we messed up. That's what we messing up at. I ain't getting in no body of water.
I mean, I feel like you do if you go to a beach you never been to. It's the same thing.
Everybody,
you go to a lake that you never been to.
First of all, I ain't never been in no lake water, so don't blame the lake on me. Now I've been in some beach water, which everybody gets in beach water, but I ain't never been in no lake water. So don't you throw that lake water over here. I ain't getting in no lake water, especially where we live. It's all kind of crap, blue algae and everything else floating in there.
I've never been in lake water that I could think of.
Of water. After hearing Rachel's suggestion, the group of friends all agreed that this sounded like a great idea. And so the group piled into their 3 cars, and then by around 11:40 a.m., Rachel and Maddie had directed the convoy all the way to the start of this unofficial dirt trail, which was located right on the side of a winding main road. After pulling their cars safely off to the side of the road, the group got out, and then Rachel and Maddie led them to the start of this trail, and they began walking through the forest. 15 minutes later, at 11:55 a.m., the group was getting very close to the water because the trees up ahead were starting to thin out. But also at 11:55 a.m., the group suddenly stopped because from somewhere out in the forest, way off in front of them, came this loud, shrill siren sound. And it went on for nearly 20 or 30 seconds, and then it just came to a stop. And the group kind of looked around at each other. No one knew what to make of the siren, and so eventually they just kind of shrugged it off and kept on walking. Within a minute of that siren sound coming to an end, the group had made it to the end of this unofficial dirt track, which placed them at the edge of this beautiful overlook down to the pool they were going to swim in. And so they began one by one climbing down the rocks in front of them, where there were some ropes that had been put up to help people climb down to the water. And so after they got down to the water, all of them stripped down to their bathing suits, they jumped into the pool, and they began swimming out towards the center of the pool, where there were these 2 big rocks that jutted up out of the water, almost like miniature islands. And so Rachel and the other women, so 5 of them, they climbed onto one of the rocks, and the 2 men who were part of this group climbed onto the other rock. And so they got up onto these rocks, and they're looking around, taking in the sights, and then at 11:58 a.m., another siren blasts across the forest. It's the same sound as the one they heard 3 minutes earlier when they were on the dirt track. And so once again, all 7 of them are kind of looking at each other, wondering, what is this siren about? But after the 20 or 30 second long siren came to an end, they glanced around them, and there was no sign of any danger. There was no sign of...
It's time to go. I got
there's warnings.
I got many reasons to hear a siren. The Lord could be coming back. I'm out of this water. Siren for tornado. I'm out of this water. Obviously, there's a siren going on.
I would have, the first siren would have, like, you know.
This ain't a normal siren.
Made me think, like, maybe we should head back. Something's going on. Like, let's
I'm
go
too
check
nosy
it out.
anyway.
Exactly. I'm too nosy. Let's go see what the sirens are.
I'm on the phone. Siren, y'all hear something? I'm out this water on the phone. We get in this car. Let me go find out what's going on with this siren.
Anything happening at all. It was just this beautiful, peaceful seeming oasis. And so before long, they had forgotten about the siren again, and Rachel had gotten out her camera and she was taking pictures, and others were taking pictures as well. And then 2 minutes later, at 12 p.m., the siren sounded for a 3rd time. Now, at this point, the group has heard the siren 2 other times. And even though the sound of the siren was kind of jarring because it was so high-pitched and shrill and really cut into their ears, this time, because they've heard it 2 other times and nothing happened, they all pretty much immediately wrote it off. So the siren's sounding for the 3rd time, and the group is not really paying attention. But when the siren finally stops this 3rd time, something very different began to happen, and the group immediately noticed it. Now, I know everyone has a lot to do to prepare for International Pet and Electric Eel Day. From the eel cigarettes to Lord... If you safe NordVPN latest feature for all of America, you can get Nord account free. Click the link in the 3rd siren. When the 3rd siren came to a stop, the friends started to hear a new sound. And it was coming from the same direction the siren had been coming from, which in effect was upstream. Even though this river was basically dry, they could turn and look uphill, and they could clearly see where the river would go if it was full. And so the friends turn and look upstream, and they're listening to this really loud kind of smashing sound that's coming from that direction, and they're exchanging curious looks at each other, trying to figure out what that sound could be. And then all of a sudden, they see it. a white wall of water comes crashing around the corner and began barreling straight down the riverbed towards them. By the time the friends had even processed what they were seeing, the water had reached the pool they were in, and it was flooding the pool so quickly they could literally see this huge pool rising. Its water levels were going up and up and up all around them. And so as the rocks they're standing on began to slowly submerge under all this rising water, the group collectively decided that this can't go on for very long. Whatever this is, it's gonna stop, so just stay put, stay on these rocks, we're gonna be okay.
These people are dumb. Oh my god.
Them sirens, they had too many warnings.
This is so just idiotic. Like, what?
Too many signs to be sitting here flying around. First of all, y'all ignored the sirens thinking wasn't nothing gonna happen. Now we gonna sit here and let this water keep flooding in and say, oh, it might end.
Oh, wait, how about the sirens meant that this was gonna happen? Let's go.
However, within seconds, the rocks they were on were completely submerged, and the water was still tumbling down the hill towards their pool, and then spilling out over the other side down the other end of the riverbed. And they're thinking to themselves, if we don't get off these rocks soon, we're going to get swept downstream with this water. And so the two men who were on their own rock, they leapt to a rocky outcropping that was slightly higher up and was connected back up to the forest. And so this rocky outcropping represented safety. And so once they were up there, they turned around and they yelled to the 5 women still stranded on their rock to try to swim over to them, and the guys would grab them and pull them to safety. But by this point, the girls are looking around, the water's up to their knees, and it's rushing past them. They can barely keep their balance. They know if they attempt to swim in this water, they're gonna immediately be taken downstream with it. And so the group very quickly decides their only choice is for the women to literally jump and grab the men who have their arms outstretched for them. And so Rachel DeJong, she was the first one to try this. She leaps off the rock, she grabs the guy's arms, and she gets pulled to safety. And then she turns around, and she and the other 2 men continue to get the women to jump off the rock to them. And at first, it's going fairly well until they get down to the second to last woman who leaps, she grabs one of the guy's arms, and then both of them lose their footing, and the guy and the woman, they both get swept away downstream, they're gone. Rachel stays calm, and she moves to the position where the guy had been who just got swept away, and she takes out her GoPro camera selfie stick, and she extends it out to the last woman who's out on the rock. Her name is Alice. And she tells Alice, jump and grab the selfie stick. And so Alice, who's almost completely submerged in water now, makes this frantic jump to grab onto the selfie stick. She grabs it for a second, but then loses her grip, and she begins being swept away. And Rachel, who at this point was completely safe, immediately jumped into the rapids after Alice. She grabbed Alice, she attempted to turn around and grab the rock to stop them, but she couldn't get a grip. And she and Alice were also swept downstream out of...
I mean, I get it, trying to save her friend.
Though, come on, you gotta know. I mean, I guess at that moment you're gonna try anything and everything. So
now we got 4 people swept down. What does the other 3 do? Somebody they're gonna jump into? But I don't know if why did she jump in? Like, you already lost 2 friends, 3.
I mean, but it's a friend. She probably felt she could help her. So
yeah. I mean, that's a hard one. That's a tough one to call right there. That's a tough one to call.
2 weeks before Rachel, Maddie, Alice, and the others had gone to this secret swimming spot, a warning sign, like a physical warning sign that warned people not to go near this river, don't go near this pool, was stolen. And that warning sign was normally placed at the very beginning of that unofficial dirt track that the 7 friends took to get to the pool. Meaning, when the 7 friends got out of their cars and began hiking into the forest to go to this pool, they would not have understood the danger of where they were going. Now, it is true that Rachel and Maddie had previously discovered this swim spot several months earlier. However, it seems like they had just learned that this swim spot existed and how to get to it. It did not seem like they had literally walked this trail and gotten to the pool, and so very likely they would not have known about the dangers this place posed. The pool of water they were swimming in was not actually dangerous itself. It was only dangerous because the pool was located in the middle of a spill zone. About 650 feet upstream of the pool they were swimming in is a dam, and 3 to 4 times a day, they open their gates, releasing 20,000 gallons of water per second down this mostly dry riverbed, and the water comes careening across that pool all the way to the bottom. The gates stay open for about 15 minutes, and the only reason this is done is for the spectacle of it. It's to show tourists what this riverbed looked like before the dam was built. And
Oh my god.
So it was built to show people. So they're not even drowning. Like, sadly, like they're not even going out from natural causes. They going out for some built dam to show you what this river is capable of. And now you got an example of people to show the example of the river.
Pretty much.
It reminds me of our river we have here that so many people still get in till this day.
And there's so many
And deaths. Like, we have a Kern River through our city.
But
and
it's called Killer Kern.
And there's literally signs, like you say, all around this river,
and
but people still go get in.
Chance it, and it's just like...
Yeah, so many people die in that river. It's crazy.
What this riverbed looked like before the dam was built was a raging rapid. On February 6th, 2017, the dam was set to spill at 12 p.m. So those sirens the friends heard at 11:55, 11:58, and then 12 were all warnings that a spill was about to occur. But of course, the seven friends had no idea. After the 12 p.m. spill had finally ended, the three friends who had made it to the rocky outcropping and had not been swept away by the current went looking for the four other friends who had been swept away, and they would find them. 3 had miraculously survived, but 1 had not. The sole fatality was 21-year-old Rachel DeJong, whose idea it was to come and swim at this spot in the first place.
Wow.
Rachel also was the woman who had left safety and jumped back into the rapids to attempt to save her friend, Alice. Wow. Today, there are many more warning signs and fences that have been put up around the Waikato River to prevent people from getting too close, because the dam still, despite the fatality, spills several times a day. However, despite all these precautions and all the notoriety around Rachel's death, people still today sneak in and go swimming in that secret pool.
It's so crazy that this story is just like ours, like our
you hear
town.
about so many deaths at this spot, but yet you still want to chance it going. I don't understand it. I don't know. That's so sad. I mean, it's crazy that it was the irony of it being her idea and her trying to save someone, and she's the one that sadly passed away. But
yeah, our river is
those three. I mean, but I don't know. That's
our river is natural though. Our river is not a dam. It's like a natural. There's a dam next to that river, but ours is a natural just river, and it runs through our whole city, like town. And for some odd reason, like this one, they put signs up and they still say.
I mean, there's a nickname for it, and a lot of people know, and that's why I'm like, I don't.
When summer comes around, we just like no, like there's always people taking videos and showing people, oh, they're out there swimming, and then minutes later, you
and there's
like,
actually people that record the deaths. Like they'll be like, oh look, he got swept away, or he drowned, and I'm just like,
and the current is nasty, like it's nasty, like even to go see it, and you like, who's getting in that? There's people who still want to chance it, but this story is crazy. This was crazy that. Oh man, that's just wild. Like they ignored, like even this. I think just me hearing a siren, I would have been like, okay, there got to be something about that siren.
I think realistically, I mean, me personally, I think if one siren would have been like, okay, something's up. But it's like when a second one comes, it's like, okay, time to go.
Because
like,
a siren is never good.
Yeah,
if you really think about it, like nothing about a siren says like, oh, it's something good. Like you got to think to yourself like something bad is about to happen with the siren. Keep going on. Like you said, the second one would have told me, let's get out this water. You might not know, but let's get away from this.
Yeah, let's go back on the trail.
Yeah, and figure out what's going on. But this is a sad story.
Definitely.
Another crazy one in the books. But let us know what y'all thought about this one. Let us know the next one y'all want us to react to. See y'all on the next one.